interesting for you. So before we get going, we need to start with our safe harbor slide, which is a famous slide for those of you in the Salesforce universe, but essentially it says that Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, so please make your purchasing decisions based on publicly available information and currently available technology. But today, we are talking about currently available technology. Our agenda for the day is we're going to be talking about support at fast-growing companies and some of the challenges that we commonly see. We're going to be introducing Desk Connect with Salesforce and doing a live demo of this connection between these two great products. And of course, we'll be having a live Q&A at the end. So let's start by talking a little bit about the thousands of fast-growing businesses that rely on Desk.com every day to deliver fast, awesome customer support. These are some of the hottest companies out there who rely on Desk.com to enable them to be very productive, to enable them to reach their customers exactly where they are, and to provide the personalized touch that are the hallmark of small businesses. And one of the things about small businesses and small teams is that they face amplified engagement challenges. And this can mean a variety of different things. We think this is something we hear from our customers a lot, that they encounter a lot of these same challenges, and we have a hunch that you might feel the same way too. Because small businesses have some very unique customer service needs. They're literally overrun with customer service requests. And these requests come in over a variety of different channels. Some of the statistics that I think are interesting are that 95% of Facebook brand posts go unanswered. 71% of Twitter complaints go unanswered. And what happens when companies ignore the complaints that arise online from people that buy their brands, it means that people are unlikely to buy for them again. They don't feel like they're getting the kind of service and support that they come to expect. And that leads to something that we call service friction. It means that our customers who are reaching out to us as small businesses on all of these different channels want to hear back from us on those same channels. So that overwhelming customer demand, if you're a small team, is really hard to meet, especially because as a small team, there's generally a lack of specific structure and process because a lot of it has been built from scratch. And that can be really complicated as a small team as you get bigger and bigger because it means that it doesn't catch all of your customers. Customers begin to fall through the cracks. And of course, that's a problem when you're trying to provide customer service. And small teams have a limited budget in IT resources. And when they don't have the budget and IT resources to throw at a problem, it means that they can get stuck in slow motion. And as a small business, one of your big advantages is your ability to remain agile and fast so that you can meet the needs of your customers. When you combine all of these things, this overwhelming customer demand, the lack of structure and process, and the limited budget and IT resources, they can all lead to unhappy customers. And as a small business, that's going to be bad for business. Now, Desk.com enables small companies to deliver big on customer support. We help companies deliver fast, awesome customer service by being really easy to set up. The average setup time is about 2 days. We come complete with case management tools, productivity tools, the ability to provide support on every channel, a knowledge base, self-service support sites and portals, multi-brand, all of these different elements that enable Desk.com companies to connect and grow as companies. When it comes to scale and growth, Desk.com companies that use Desk.com to provide customer support don't have to worry about what's going to happen as they grow. It's designed for growth. But what can happen at small companies is that there can be a gap between what's happening on the sales team and what's happening on the service team, which leads to sort of a disjointed customer experience, which is hard. One of the things that we advocate here is that we improve collaboration between sales and service so that you can provide that seamless customer experience so they have a good experience. Now, growing businesses use the world's #1 sales application, which is the Salesforce One Sales Cloud. It enables small companies to close more deals to grow their business and comes with a variety of standard objects and processes to help make that happen easily. And what we're going to be talking about today is Desk Connect for Salesforce, which is built to improve the customer experience and help your sales and support teams stay in sync with a complete 360-degree customer view. Now that sounds very highfalutin, so I want to make sure we talk about very specifically what this is. This is a full bi-directional sync with Salesforce standard objects, and those objects are the account, the contact, the case, and the interaction. And with your ability to create this sync between your sales team and your support team, as our Desk.com admin over at Dealer Buyer says, this opens up some really fascinating opportunities for how you can use these two products together. So let's talk a little bit about some of the advantages that you can get before we jump into the demo. With all of these accurate customer service insights that exist, you can win more deals. And you can share these reports and dashboards either in Desk.com with your entire support team or in Salesforce.com so that your sales and the rest of your team have access to them. In Desk.com, we have an element of the product called Business Insights, which is our out-of-the-box reporting tool that comes with a variety of standard dashboards and reports. And in Salesforce, because we're sharing this standard data model, you can also have these reports in the Salesforce reports and dashboards on a desktop, on an iPad, or even in the Salesforce One mobile app. You can incorporate these dashboards. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Matt to take you through a full demo so you can see the power of this incredibly strong handshake between these products. So Matt, why don't you take it away?
Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot, Becca. Hopefully everyone can hear me. But just to kick things off with the demo, to set your expectations, we're going to take a look at a sample phone call case coming into Desk.com, seeing that data update in Salesforce in real time. We'll take a look at the Salesforce objects and what updating from Salesforce to Desk implies. Then we'll take a look at some of the reporting implications, how we get this set up and administer it. And then lastly, we'll see some another example of this real-time creation of information from Desk into Salesforce. So, with that, let's take a quick look at what our experience is going to look like when we have a customer call in. So, when we have a customer call into Desk, if we've got Desk Connect turned on and their information's in Salesforce, the great thing is Desk will already have things like their phone number. So if they get a phone call into the system, Desk is going to recognize this. It's going to pop their customer record because we know the phone number, and we're going to see their exact information in here from Salesforce into Desk.com. And with that, what we're able to do now is operate on the case effectively with the relevant customer information. And what's very cool about this is now when we operate on this case, let's put in the subject, and then we're going to go ahead and put in an interaction. And this is going to map over to Salesforce for us. So the idea of this sync, as Becca mentioned, is that this case in Desk will map through to the native case object in Salesforce. The contact profile in Desk maps through the contact and account to account. And to look at that, now let's look at Jamie here in Salesforce. And if I go to her cases and go to the full list view here, I can see this phone call that's just come in. When I open up the case, I can see the detailed information on it. And what we'll show in just a sec is how we can map through all of the key fields. But again, we synchronize the case. The interaction has become an activity within Salesforce that we can witness here. And so let's go take a look at it. The interaction, again, mapped through. Our case DSL is mapped through. Our contact is mapped through. And our account is mapped through between both systems. Now, from Desk into Salesforce is going to be a real-time update. It's event-based, so added to Desk within seconds, it's in Salesforce. From Salesforce back into Desk is going to be a 5-minute delay. So Jamie's just gotten promoted in our demo. She's now the president of the company. We're going to save that and take a look at another aspect, and on a rolling 5-minute timer. So anywhere from instant to 5 minutes from now, we'll see that reflected in Desk.com. While we give that half a second to bake, let's talk about how we map through all of the detail on these objects from Salesforce.com into Desk. And it's all going to be administered on the Desk side. So within Desk.com, what we see now under our settings and integrations with Salesforce is we're going to see this new data sync option. And under this Salesforce data sync, what's now available is the possibility first to enable it, but then also to describe the exact relationships we want between objects. So when we think about it, again, what we're doing is we're mapping company to account, customer to contact, case to the native case object in Salesforce. And we're going to do that automatically to all of our standard fields, like the contact information with Jamie we just showed. But we also allow you to map into the custom fields between both systems. So, let's take a look at the case, for instance. If I want to map my fields, let's say the inquiry type, to my inquiry type within Desk.com, well, I can select that custom field here within Desk, and then value by value associate them, so that now if I've updated a custom field within Desk, it will mirror through to Salesforce. If I update it within Salesforce, it will mirror through to Desk. Now, for those of you who are CRM admins out there or already pretty familiar with how Salesforce works, we've just, from the Desk interface now, can update a custom field value, which, as you know, that opens up a world of possibilities. Now that we've toggled the custom field change in Salesforce, we open up the Salesforce workflow engine. And so potentially now we can trigger any workflow in Salesforce from that Desk.com field change. That's kind of the awesome power of possibility here we've done, since really all we're doing is changing a value in Salesforce from the Desk interface. Now, to highlight some of these possibilities further, let's take a look at reporting implications. Since we're now reporting on the standard Salesforce case object, we can now build reports in Salesforce based on Desk.com with a lot of very granular data, right? We've got custom field values, soon labels mapping through to topics, so all of our label values in Desk becoming reportable in Service Cloud or Salesforce Platform here. And we can use custom reports to build within Desk, and we can start to use some of our standard reporting from Service Cloud. So things like our Service Executive Dashboard, things like our critical cases. Well, hey, this could have been critical kicked over from Desk. This will map through in Salesforce. And I've started to open up a lot of the power of our Salesforce dashboards from Desk.com data. Now, this is in addition to the power you already get with our native reporting stack within Desk.com. This is our native business insights tool, which is still at your fingertips and offers some great metrics, key things like getting agent productivity, responsiveness type of metrics, or trend analysis into our business. What are the types of questions I'm getting, products involved, responses being given. But now what we're able to do, in addition to leveraging this native business insights tool within Desk, I can marry some of this into Salesforce. And there's some awesome implications. We think about the type of views I'd want in account management. I'm going to have a lot of things available to me by having my sales and support unified into the one platform. Now, let's take another just highlight on what we've looked at today. We took a look at Jamie's contact record there, and we just updated it at the very end. So when we pull open another case for Jamie, now that I've opened it, I can see some of her data from Salesforce has mirrored back through into Desk. And in addition to updating the contact and account objects, as well as the case, with this integration, as it has already existed, you still have the capability to bring through even more data from Salesforce. So let's say, hey, I'm in Desk, but I need to operate on custom objects. I want to see orders in Salesforce. I want to see assets. I want to see a custom object I've built. Those things can all be displayed through into this widget view from Salesforce.com. So I have full synchronization of the data model with the objects that exist in Salesforce, that interaction, case, contact, account, as well as visibility into any objects related to those through my Salesforce widget. Now, just to highlight this one more time and show this real-time nature, this was an example with Jamie, who we see now, hey, now she's president. Again, that rolling 5-minute timer to update from Salesforce to Desk. But what happens if we have someone completely new to the system? And so, let's just take Becca as our example for today. I search for her in Salesforce. She's not here. But let's say I get a new email in from Becca, and this is the Desk.com Help Center. This is our example Connect Me demo account. But Becca is going to submit a new support email. And just as we expect, when she submits it from the Help Center, it's going to be instantly created within the Desk interface. So I see now within my desk inbox, hey, here's Becca, case has been created, customer's been created. But what's so awesome about it, from Desk to Salesforce, again, is this real-time kickover. Now when I search for Becca, now she instantly exists within Salesforce, account exists within Salesforce, and that case that's been created is instantly mirrored through to the native Salesforce case object. So that's the power we have here, is that capability to have our data model in both systems mirrored through here in true real time from Desk to Salesforce, and that near real time rolling 5-minute timer from Salesforce back into Desk.com. So regardless of the interface I'm operating from, I'm always operating on the same customer data for a unified 360-degree view. And we're just going to open up the slide deck for a bit more to wrap things up here. But, when we look at this, again, the big key things to highlight are this capability to, first of all, synchronize our data model so that we're operating on the same customer data. But what we've really done here is open up a world of possibility, because when I'm updating something in Desk and it's updating in Salesforce in real time, I can use that real-time update to open up the Salesforce workflow rules engine. Things I can do with Apex code, open that up even farther. I'm now updating data in a Salesforce object in real time. If I need to use data from, let's say, an App Exchange partner that's mirrored through onto the standard objects, I'm going to synchronize that in Desk, but even a custom object, in many cases, will map through for visibility into Desk.com. And then I've got interaction and capability to use Salesforce One from the Salesforce One mobile app as well to open up reporting, to see those cases in my Salesforce One mobile app. All those things that are possible in Salesforce are now directly looking at Desk data because it's in Salesforce, kicked over from Desk in real time. And then, the primary intention of this synchronization of the data model is that you get even more expanded capability out of both Desk.com and Salesforce for your whole company, right? Service and sales has been our highlight today, but Salesforce has always been about being a whole company platform, and by unifying the data model, we open that up. But what that also means is, should your needs ever arise to need Service Cloud, whether that be adding some Service Cloud possibilities or needing to fully migrate from Desk to Service Cloud. And there's a couple of great examples with Spotify and Fitbit, for instance. Fitbit's an amazing story. They started with Desk about 4 years ago, went from 4 agents to 475. And, at 475 agents and growing, a lot of their processes were getting to the point where we needed the platform scale capability of Service Cloud. We're able to get that data model that's already there, so we just need to implement the processes that we're looking for moving forward, but that migration becomes seamless to get from one to the other, or even start to expand some Service Cloud processes, let's say communities, for instance, while still leveraging Desk.com. With that, this has been a heavily attended webinar, and we thank you for that. So, let's try to tackle some of these questions that have arisen here.
We've gotten a lot coming through over chat, and please keep them coming. We are going to make sure that we get to all of these questions. We had some interesting questions about the ability to get started with this. What do we have to do to help everybody get up and running with this Desk Connect?
Yeah, so, it's a great point. Desk Connect is live today. We have customers running on it. However, since this is something that's, very robust, we're talking about synchronizing data and potentially a lot of data in your Salesforce org. So reach out to your account executive, and we're going to work closely with you to turn it on. And then in the medium-term future, we'll hand over the keys to you. But for now, just reach out to your AE, and we'll put a plan together with you to turn this on and get you live and running on it. But we can start that process today and have done so for more than a dozen customers as we speak.
Very cool. We're also getting a lot of questions about what Desk looks like. Everyone is marveling that their agent console looks a little bit different than the one you're showing. Can you tell us about our next-gen agent, Matt?
Yeah, so, we kind of snuck that in there, but if you remember last Dreamforce, we gave a sneak peek to this next-gen agent interface, and this has actually been live for a number of months in duality with our existing interface. But this is really the interface of the future for Desk.com. It's fast. We completely rewrote it. Great use of screen real estate, things like bulk editing, for those of you familiar with Desk, coming over from the right. And then, one that we also just snuck in there quietly is you saw the preview to CTI, which is something that is actually another one that has gone live for a handful of partners. So we're looking at next generation Desk. You're going to get a lot more of this at Dreamforce, but this interface is live to everybody on Desk today.
So we're getting a couple of questions about cost, and obviously that's a really good question. Are there additional charges to get this going if someone is already using Desk and Salesforce? Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's not an additional cost, but the license requirement for Desk.com is our Plus 2014 plan. For those of you who are on that plan, there's zero additional costs. If you're not on Desk Plus 2014, let's say you're Desk Standard, the present integration works, but to take advantage of Desk Connect, you're going to need our Plus 2014 plan.
We also had a question about the phone that showed up in our demo. That's a little bit of a new feature for us. And if you have a phone that's being built by TalkDesk, OneReach, RingCentral, or New Voice Media, it's very easy for us to bring that in. But there's some specific questions about how this phone number or how this phone works. How does that work between what's happening in Desk and all of the data that lives there and in Salesforce and the phone number that comes in? Is that automatically recognizable?
Yeah, so let's talk through that in the use case we use today. And also just a little bit on telephony, but we're going to follow up with a lot more material on this, and stay tuned for Dreamforce. There's some amazing things coming. But what we've done in this theme of leveraging Salesforce technology to make Desk even more capable and awesome is we've borrowed the Salesforce OpenCTI framework. So that when we've already had these 150 plus phone partners who've built integrations to Salesforce, most of that technology is also mirrored through into Desk. And then each partner just needs to optimize for the interface. So as Becca mentioned, we've got OneReach, New Voice Media, TalkDesk, and RingCentral today, but the foundation is set to open up the entire Salesforce ecosystem, as well as have your telephony be portable between Desk and the Salesforce platform as it's built on the same technology. Now, what we looked at today was the use case of getting an inbound phone call and recognizing the customer because the customer was already in Salesforce. But to clarify, we're not implying that we had to look up the data in Salesforce. The implication is that since it's in Salesforce and Desk Connect is turned on, it's also in Desk. So all we did was a look up into Desk, but since that's in Salesforce and Desk Connect enabled, it's in Desk because it's in Salesforce, and we're able to leverage that customer data model to identify them when we get the inbound call into Desk.com.
We've had a couple of great questions about business insights, best practices, and a few other items. These are really great questions. The purpose of this webinar was really to talk about our new Desk Connect for Salesforce. But if you're coming to Dreamforce, we have 47 dedicated Desk.com sessions. It's easy for you to find them. You go into Agenda Builder, you will be able to search by product, and if you select Desk.com, I know we have at least a couple of sessions that are specifically talking about business insights best practices, as well as our next-gen agents, so you can get a true guided tour of that functionality. Please take a look there, and we'll be happy to send you all of that information as well. Matt, we're also getting some questions about custom objects and custom field mapping. Do you want to dive into that in a little bit more detail?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we think about custom objects in Salesforce, there's really no analogy within Desk. That's part of the power of the Salesforce platform, is this ability to build custom objects, control relationships between those objects. integrate those objects with other systems. It's really the power of the platform, and I think many on this call are probably pretty familiar with that. Since Desk doesn't have the concept of those objects, for custom objects, we're just talking about visibility in the Salesforce widget on the assumption that that object is related to the contact or account. And then it's the standard objects, the standard account, contact, case, interaction living under that case that are synchronized between both systems. So it's a synchronization between case, contact, and account, and then visibility, potentially, depending on the structure, to custom objects through the widget view in Salesforce.
Right.
And then for custom field mapping, the second part of that question, we're going to be able to custom field map to fields that are analogous between Desk and Salesforce. So, we did this example of a list-based field with our inquiry type, true-false fields, date, text, numeric. As you know, Salesforce also has some advanced field types. At this time, those won't map through, but any field type that we have a concept for within Desk can be mirrored through from Salesforce, so as long as it's existing on that standard case, contact, and account object.
Awesome. We have a couple of questions about how to get more information about Desk in general and then Desk Connect specifically. For Desk in general, I encourage you to visit www.desk.com. It's a great resource for all kinds of information about the product, including specs and all of those things that you might need in terms of the functionality. I also encourage you to engage your account executives who can take you into a little bit more detail about the full range of functionality of the product. If you're interested in learning more about Desk Connect, please definitely talk to your account executive so that we can get a little bit deeper into your specific use case to make sure that this data synchronization and handshake between these products works beautifully for you. We had another question about how does this work with Chatter in Salesforce. Matt, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so, with Salesforce Chatter, that's an amazing collaboration tool, and you'll see a lot of similarities between that and the case feed as well in Salesforce. Those are not mapped through into Desk.com. Desk.com has a different internal collaboration tool with our note functionality for internal comments on a case. Those notes can be visible within Salesforce, but Chatter is not integrated into Desk.com at this time.
Okay.
And
any other questions? Sorry,
one
go ahead.
more here I want to make sure we tackle, and that's a concern. Hey, this looks like it has the potential to cause a lot of clutter for the sales team. We completely understand that. Potentially when we're combining data models, that there's a lot of information that can get passed back and forth. So that is one, why we're working closely with you and not just opening this up to the world at this time. The other roadmap item, this is forward-looking, so if you need to wait for this functionality, we'll let you know once released. But it's selective capability to control which data we're moving and which we're synchronizing between Desk and Salesforce. And also, the thought here is that when we create data from Desk into Salesforce, it can be of Desk record type, so we're able to distinguish it from the other record types in Salesforce so you have control. So that ability to control your data we know is crucial, and look for that as fast as we can pedal.
So we actually have a question about Jira in here and our integration with them. Do you want to talk about that really quickly? I know it's a little bit off topic, but.
Yeah, sure. So, with Jira, Desk has an out-of-the-box integration with both the on-premise and on-demand version. Salesforce also integrates with Jira. Generally, what we find with the Desk environment, since it's support and development or product management working with each other, is they use Desk to Jira. And it's a native integration that can be set up in a matter of minutes. So, we've got some great resources on the Help Center, some video overviews. Quite welcome to check that out. Or even just pull open the integration and run with it again. It's a 5 or 10 minute setup to get that rocking.
We had another question on the webinar about eliminating our existing Salesforce integration that isn't Desk.Connect. Don't worry, we're not getting rid of it. It's still there. No problem. This is just it's a tighter connection between these products. So if you're interested in taking advantage of some of the benefits of the platform in Salesforce, this is a really great way to get started with that. Any other questions? Great. Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining our webinar. There's a couple of other questions that we might get to in chat if they come up later, but thank you very much, and we appreciate your time. We hope this is something that's interesting to you. Bye.